キュートストロメアインフェルノゲヘナ
A hero named Leo Demonheart makes his way to a castle, where he meets the demon queen Echidna and her 4 generals, Edward, Marnies, Lily, and Chatina. He says that he wants to join Echidna's demon army, even though he was the one who abolished it in the first place. Echidna berates him and orders her generals to throw him out. Despite this, Leo constantly makes his way back inside and eventually convinces the generals to listen to his presentation. Edward vouches for his skills and is willing to take him in. Lily also wants to be with Leo as she wishes to marry him. Mernies is not very enthusiastic about this and then shoots and asks him why he wants to join the demon army. Leo goes on to reveal that after he defeated the kitten and her army, the people he had saved treated him like a monster and wanted to kill him over the fear that he was going to become the next demon king. This led the Lord of Renales to banish Leo from the city despite the fact that he had protected the philosopher's zone from getting stolen. Leo struggled to sustain himself after this, and that was when he decided to give up on the world and side with the demons. Shutina believes his story and agrees to hire him for a trial period of 1 month. However, Leo has to stay away from Echidna so that she doesn't know about this arrangement. Later, Leo calls back to the time he saw Echidna telling her soldiers not to kill anyone as she wants to rule over an island peacefully. The next day, Lee wakes up shooting at using Echidna's voice. She panics and attacks him in a hilarious fit of rage. Leo realizes that shooting is under a lot of stress as the other demon leaders have retreated due to the damage he caused. As Shutina is the only general with the ability to handle an empire, Liu decides to help her with the mana reactors that only function on her wavelength. He morphs into an armored soldier with the name Black Knight Onyx to roam around without getting spotted by Echidna. However, he takes a break in between work, and it upsets Shutina. Then he calls a woman named Dianette and tells her to give a report on the reactors. We learned that Leo has managed to solve the problem permanently by tuning shooting as wavelength to other sorcerers using a talisman. Then he explains to shooting at the importance of delegation and helps her sort her work schedule so that she can have more time to herself. They finally become friends even though Leo asks for a kiss in exchange for services. Later, Shutina asks Leo to help with a logistics plan at the Largo Sea that Lily isn't handling very well. Shutina says that the dragonfolk of Largo are on good terms with Echidna and are helping with the transportation of supplies. But Lily is telling everyone to have fun instead. This is an urgent matter, so Leo visits Largo disguised as Onyx. He tries to come up with a plan of action, but he can't get anything done without Lily's approval. Seeing no other option, he summons a venomous viper and gets himself bitten to motivate Lily to get herbs for him. She transforms into the divine wolf, and she comes across a bunch of obstacles on her way that have been set by Leo as a means of teaching her the importance of teamwork and delegation. However, instead of using any external support, she gets through each task by herself. Now Leo disguises himself as a man named Godheart and visits her as she tries to take a giant leap over a cliff. He gives her some advice, but she still manages to overcome the obstacle all by herself. Leo thinks he has failed, but Lily manages to use his advice to come up with a plan by using her team efficiently. The task goes smoothly, and Leo realizes he should have given Lily more credit. Later, he is summoned by Echidna. He goes to meet her at Onyx, and she invites him to have dinner and drinks with her. She asks him to take off his helmet, and he manages to change his face to avoid suspicion. Lee wants to escape the situation, so he tries to get the kidney drunk, but it doesn't work. Then he tries to ask her about her opinion on Leo joining the army, but she says that she's upset with him for stopping her from getting the Philosopher's Stone from Annihilus. Leo questions her intentions with the Philosopher's Stone, and she tells him about the demon world, which is a total wasteland. Echidna wants to make life better for her people, and that's why she needs the stone to change the demon world. After he realizes her noble intentions, Liu respects her even more now. Akina asks him about his motivations and makes him uncomfortable as this is a tricky situation. He thinks of revealing his true identity to her, but then they are interrupted by Shutina and Lily, who revealed that Mernies and Edward have left the army. After a short discussion, Leo goes to look for Mernies, who claims to have gone on a journey, while Echidna looks for Edvard, who wants to take his own life after seeing his soldiers fail against a chimera. Leo meets Mernies and tries to learn why he wants to leave. That's when he reveals that he's actually very nervous about some interviews, as he's not a big talker. He he proceeds to ask Leo to teach him communication skills over the next 3 days. Leo eventually agrees to it and reports to Echidna, reassuring her about him. Echidna also tells him that Edward was very upset because he thinks he's a worthless general. However, his daughter Julieta is keeping an eye on him now, so he won't do anything reckless. Later, Leo trains Myrnies by dressing him up as a waitress at a mess hall. He helps him out by giving some tips, and Bernie starts off by talking to a mercenary group. They respond to him disrespectfully and try to harass him, but he teaches them a lesson while also speaking properly. Leo congratulates him for his progress, and then they carry out a mock interview where Myrnis asks Leo his true reason for joining the demon army. He is doubtful about Leo because he knows that he can destroy all of humanity by himself without any assistance. Bernice also relates to how Leo must be feeling betrayed by the humans, as he also had a hard time during his childhood due to his mixed origins. He goes on to confess that he was confused by Echidna's kindness when he joined her and had planned to overthrow her later on. That was till Leo arrived and defeated the Marnies. Begins to cry, so Leo proceeds to tell him a story. Roughly 1,000 years into the past, he says that Tokyo was a high-tech place with all kinds of technology, but that a portal opened up, allowing residents of the demon world to invade Earth. This led to an all-out war, and the humans created demon hearts to deal with the situation. Leo is also a demon heart, but he's the only one who has survived till now. He explains that his core program is to save humanity, and that's how he's been living all this time. However, after his recent betrayal, he decided to finally quit heroin and start a second life. Leo feels relieved to have finally told his story to someone, and Bernice is shocked to learn that Leo is actually thousands of years old. Leo is satisfied with Marnie's progress, and they go to sleep. The next day, Julieta talks to Leo and tells him that Edward was disappointed in his troops after they lost to our chimeras. However, he is not accepting their reasons, as he believes they should be as skilled as him. Leo comes up with a plan and takes Lily and Julieta to a Phantom 9 suit that existed from the machine era. He activates it, and the suit makes its way to Edward's troops. It turns out to be more powerful than expected and malfunctions, so it attacks Edward, who tries to fight it. Then Leo and Julieta drop by to help him defeat the suit by giving him some tips. He succeeds, but the suit calls for backup, and 3 other suits awaken. Luckily, Echidna and the other generals arrive to help out. The Demon Queen takes down the machines, thus allowing Leo to resume his lesson with Edvard. He ridicules him for not knowing how to defeat a Phantom Knight suit, and then explains to him how he should work closely with his team when it comes to fighting chimeras. Edward finally comes to his senses and apologizes to his troops for his behavior. They request him to continue as their general, and he promises to do better. The next day, Shutina tells Leo that he will probably get promoted, and he promises to review all of his intentions during the meeting. After this, he thinks back to the time he met Ibrad, a demon popularly known as the Joiner of Hands. A flashback begins where we see Ibrad trying to make a case for his life to avoid getting killed by Leo. He talks about Belil, who opened the portal to the human world so the demons could experience a better life. Then they engage in a lengthy conversation where Leo also shares his origin story. The both of them bond as Ibrad tries to convince Leo to live the kind of life that would give him happiness. During this discussion, Leo also reveals that he is currently the weakest model among the demon hearts, and is training to become stronger. After they are done talking, Ibrad is arrested by the containment squad, but he remains firm on his belief to create peaceful coexistence between demons and humans. This is where it is revealed that Ibrad was the one who planted the idea of quitting heroin in Leo's head. Now we're back to the present day as Leo goes to meet Echidna in his Onyx disguise. Echidna signs off on Onyx's promotion, but before she can give him the news, everyone is told that the spirit portal is going to close due to a lack of crystals. They only have 7 days left and have to decide between retreating forever and going for the Philosopher's Stone. Echidna is torn between her choices, so Leo takes off his helmet and tells her that there are 2 Philosopher's Stones. He walks up to her and offers his help, but she attacks him as she realizes his deception. Regardless, they team up and head to the Seashot Mountains. After them, generals vouch for Leo. On their way, Leo talks to Echidna and tells her how to use the Philosopher's Stone with the help of a user guide. They eventually start to get along as Leo shares more about his past. However, he also reveals his fears about going insane due to his inbuilt code to save humanity. He hints at what his true purpose is, and then he tells everyone that he has the Philosopher's Stone in his heart. Now Leo challenges Echidna and her team to kill him so that they can retrieve the stone. However, if they fail, he is going to kill every human in the world. He starts to attack Echidna and declares that he must destroy the world to make humanity rely on him again. Edvard and Sudina also join in on the battle, but Edward gets severely injured as he saves Shutina from an attack. Leo expresses his frustration with his immortality and how he has no other purpose besides war. Echidna and the others struggle during the fight, and Lily pleads with Leo to share his problems with her so that she can help him. Despite this, he attacks her, and this forces the group to go all out against him. However, he is too strong to be defeated as his abilities have been accumulating for over 3,000 years. Edward is taken down despite being in his dragon form, but isn't killed. Ernest joins in on the battle and accuses Leo of lying about his intentions, but he is frozen before he can speak any further. Lily reluctantly transforms into the divine wolf and attacks Leo, but even she is defeated in a single blow. Echidna figures this is going nowhere, so she decides to use a spell that was made specifically to bind a hero's superpowers. Shutina is tasked with keeping him occupied as a kidney summons the spell, and she tries her best by confronting Leo over the truth. She believes that Leo only wants to destroy himself and is not interested in hurting anyone else, which is why he hasn't killed them yet. He takes her out as well, but Echidna is powered up now, so she unleashes the spell on him. She fears that Leo is simply going to dodge the attack, but he just stands there and takes it while also thanks her for doing this. Now he looks back upon his life as it flashes before his eyes. We learn that Leo had constantly searched for more opportunities to save the world as the years went by slowly. He started to crave war so that the world would have to rely on him to save it again. He even thought about creating new villains so that he could save the world again. However, when the demon portal opened up, he realized that he had gone insane due to his eternal loneliness caused by his lack of trust. He managed to stop his villain program from continuing, but also realized that he was the greatest evil in the world. He needed someone reliable to take his Philosopher's Stone, and that was when he came across Echidna. Then we learned that his entire time with the demon army was a test for them to prove their worthiness. Echidna realizes Leo's intentions and feels bad for him having to go through so much pain and suffering. Leo begins to question his own ideals after it kind of figures that he only wanted someone to save him from his identity of being a hero. However, she decides to give him a suitable death and disables his powers, thus allowing the generals to use their finishing blows on him. Leo collapses and feels good that he's finally lost the generals and they cannot confront him about his plan. But he tells him to take the stone from his heart before it's too late. After an emotional sequence of events, Echidna decides against it and appoints Leo as the ambassador of peace between humans and demons. He requests each of the generals to kill him, but they refuse to do so. Shooting suggests turning off his inbuilt programming to cue himself, and after a brief moment of conflict, Leo manages to liberate himself. He finally makes good on Ibra's advice and heals himself, thus stealing the stone again. Echidna offers her hand, and Leo happily accepts it as a symbol of him quitting heroin. He begins his new life as a kidney subordinate, and she asks him if he has any regrets about continuing to live. He reveals he genuinely wants to help her fulfill her wish to make a better world for her demons. Julieta interrupts their moment and reveals a lot of work has piled up during the time they were gone. Now Leo, Echidna, and the generals officially begin their new working relationship. And that's the end of the show. Like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all my recap videos. I'll see you soon with another video.